Okay, so it's recording now.
Okay.
Uh, would you like me to put on the video, or would you just like to talk like this?
It's fine either way.
Okay.
Your face up.
Well, I leave in 5 days.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I'm so excited. I got in touch with Linda. Thank you, Diego and Jessica, for that. And yeah, so I got this little job, and I'm I'm on my way.
Are you going to work in the bakery?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I know the place. Yeah. And you will probably, most likely, will suffer the first days for altitude sickness.
Yeah, I was expecting to be kind of exhausted. And
Yeah, for sure. So I suggest you they have everywhere the coca tea, which has nothing to do with the drug. The plant is the same plant, but they use the leaves because it works very well against the altitude sickness.
ah,
So you can find in the public restaurants or shops very easily. Because you're so high up on the mountain, so it's a form of altitude sickness, not from the plane or anything like that.
yeah.
And then the energy of the place is super strong. You're going um, the place is something like 3,000 meters high,
Mhm.
and it's quite strong. The energy, yeah. And how long have you told your family that you're gonna be gone for a couple months, or are you planning on like staying as long as you can?
I want to stay. I want to stay there for probably 10 months or 6 months or so, and then I'd like to go. I've saved up enough money so that I can live off of my wage off of work, and then I can travel either to. I'd like to go back to Europe, so that's what I'm saving my money for when I get tired of being in Peru.
Okay.
Um,
Is there something particular in Europe you want to go and see, or
yeah.
just inner calling?
No, I've lived in Europe before, and I never really got to explore as much as I wanted to. So I'd like to redo that over again and just like go see the Eastern European countries, and maybe go up to like Finland or Norway, or even to Ireland. I'd like to go just to see what it's like.
Okay, so you were wanting to do a trip around the world kind of a thing, and just
Absolutely.
right. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so have obstacles have come up since you've decided to do this trip,
Uh-huh. Yes.
and the obstacles and how it kind of worked itself out when you went further, like towards standing your ground. Because I know that what your dad and your brother were saying, and your mother, and how that ended up working out.
Um, they actually started listening to me. We finally had some really good talks and stuff like that, and I said, okay, I understand what you're initially concerned about, but I had to show her, like you said, the end of fear episodes and whatnot, and she finally got where I was coming from, and that I'm not going, and that she was confused because she thought that you guys were in Peru, and I kept telling them no, they're in Bali, they're not going to be there, and this isn't some cult thing that I'm getting involved with or nothing, and it's like I'm doing this because I've always wanted to go, and it's just their friend that is helping me. They're doing their own thing. And she's like, oh, okay, okay, and she's good with it now. And my dad is still kind of upset because I didn't get any vaccines before I'm going or anything like that, and just silly things like that. But
It's understandable, but even the staff to identify the endocrine process like a cult or like a sect is understandable, even if it's annoying because all the time it's like that. But it's an attempt to classify what the people don't know exactly into a structure, right? So if I've been bit gentle with your mother on Facebook, try to explain her that it's not a sect, it's not inquire in the website, read the website, watch the videos. But the first when there is the fear, that is the fear to change, the fear of changing in something else, something that you don't know. Usually people, according with the structure, they tend to think according with what they know, what they've been told, and most of the cases is not even themselves. So something that is unknown becomes immediately a cult, a kind of new belief system or a sect, a misty stuff. But rather it's absolutely clear. It's just about the understanding of the concept of the project and all the cost, of course. It's just about understanding of the concept, not really the project itself.
Yeah.
To some people it's extremely difficult to accept the fact that a project can be without structures, does not require any adhesion to whatsoever belief system to the members, nor a form of religiosity or any kind of mental and humanitarian structure. Mm-hmm. And therefore, usually people cannot understand really well this, so they try to use their goals, which are no more but the mirror of their fear. So most that is a sect, of course. It's something like a new religion or something like that.
And it's
really suggested it to you because it was something that you've always wanted to do.
Yes, exactly. You didn't say, go and do this. You said, okay, what do you want to do? And I said this. I said, I've always wanted to go to Peru. And you said, well, go and do it. And it's like, it's, I think that that they maybe initially thought that, you had this hook in my jaw and were dragging me to Peru with some kind of promise or something like that. But I had to say, this is a dream. And they're saying, well, you're not prepared. I said, I've been preparing for this for years. This is a dream of mine since I was watching National Geographic, seeing those places and being like, wow, And it's kind of funny because he was the one who is actually probably the most supportive out of all of us. Yet he's out of all of my family initially, but he's still the most fearful with it. So it's kind of it's very polar opposite with him.
Because especially for a parent, when the son or the daughter has a dream, is beautiful until the dream becomes real.
Yeah.
Then it's no longer beautiful because it implies the reality of doing the purpose of what the purpose of the dream is. So
how potent it is.
It's usually in any kind of relationship, a relationship between two people, or a relationship between the parents and the kids. The people want to support the dreams of the kids or the dreams of the partner. But the moment the dreams become real, it's no longer pleasant because it becomes a mirror of their fears, right? And therefore they're stuck to to point out the negative possibilities of it, just the negativity. It happened the same to me when I decided to leave Europe.
Yeah.
And I moved to Bali, but was not really my dream. I just wanted to move. I was not comfortable in the Western structure of living. And it happened the same. I mean, all of my friends, my parents, my brother, my father, my mother, all of them say It's not a good idea because here is safe, there is it's not safe, and the viruses, and what if, what happened if, and
Mm-hmm.
what about, and all doubts and fear and fear and fear that are no more than mirror of their fears. The, my Even my brother, I remember my brother said to me, if you wanted to go to Bali, okay, it's fine, but be careful because it's full of cannibals, and you are going to live in the middle of the jungle surrounded by vampires. Come on, are you kidding me? And you have to be honest, because here there are many things that I don't like, of course, but if I have to compare Bali and Western countries. I mean, in Italy, it's normal to see, especially if you drive the car, it's normal to see people that fight because of stupid reason, maybe in the middle of the street, maybe 4 times a day. Here in 4 years,
Just
more than
fighting?
4 years, fighting for stupid stuff, maybe the parking car or whatever, because they are hyper nervous and frustrated, and they are like a box under pressure. So a minimum excuse is enough to make them
To freak
explode
out. Yeah.
psychologically. Here in 4 years, I never ever ever seen any kind of fight. I mean, I have to be honest, not to compare, but I feel statistically is extremely more safe here rather than place like, I don't know, Chicago, Miami, or New York.
Oh,
The place where
absolutely.
I go in Peru, I think the only danger that you can find there is maybe a rabbit that attacks you. Most potential danger.
Spiders.
Spiders, there are no spiders, I think, because it's too high.
Oh, there you
Not even,
go.
I think there are no snakes. There are no dangerous animals.
No.
Um, not the dangerous animals. There are puma, but they are you have to go in the middle of nowhere to find the pumas. Linda met just once a puma, but nothing happened. And that's all. The people are calm, quiet. The place is very safe. Statistically, is extremely more safe than a town in West countries.
Yeah.
That's a reality. No one can say no. Then, of course, who knows? One day we can exit our house and a meteorite crashes into our house. We die, but who cares about that? You see, there is always this when the dream, because same thing is happening to David. When the dream becomes true, people around the person that is experiencing that dream start to be afraid, creating what actually are the mirrors of their fears, which are all, this superficial crash, be careful of this, be careful of that, and maybe they never ever consider the idea that is maybe less and less and less safe to go in the club in the middle of the night, and maybe in a place which is filled of people that are under drugs or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's so clear how the neuro-linguistic structure inside the mind of people is working mostly by using the fuel of fear, and this fuel is necessary to maintain the status quo until the status quo is broken by a dream.
Mm-hmm.
It's silly to think that you can be prepared for something like that. I mean, you can't be prepared for the unknown.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And observe. And if you observe, then you can see things happening before they even happen. And you can feel. So you can know what kind of situation you're getting yourself in. If you're confused, of course you'll attract unpleasant situations and experiences. But if you're not, you're in your observation, then you avoid all that.
And I feel that I have like I feel that I'll be okay. Like I'll be around good people and things like that. And so I'm not worried about it. But the only things that are making me worried is that everyone else is worried about it. And like they're calling me foolish and stuff like that, and that they're like, okay, well, prove us wrong and stuff. And yeah, I don't know.
It's just because they don't have the courage to go after their own dreams.
Yeah.
So they want to keep misery loves company in some ways, keep everybody close by.
But I'm trying to keep my mouth shut because eventually they're going to be the ones that are being inspired by it. And so I don't want to go off on them too much and really freak out at them because they're going to be like, wow, you know, it's going to make an impact on the people that I love, right?
But in some way, you're going to be an example because what really scares people is the fact that people like dreams, right? But the particularity of dreams, metaphorically and not, is that the need to dream is because dreams has no structures, no needs, right?
Absolutely.
So when the possibility to experience a dream with no structure in reality becomes real, people of course are, because people are educated and programmed to think and to believe in structure, to live their life in structures. No, to structure continuously their life. And that's why people have dreams, like or fantasy movies or whatever, or reading books, or the power of music that creates emotions, because it's all about something that has no structures. But the moment the possibility to live, to experiencing the moment in life with no structures, like no plans, something that doesn't match the usual standard, which is a structured standard. Of course, people freak out because they are too much stuck in the way of thinking through structures.
Yeah.
And of course, when the dream becomes a reality, like I want to travel with no plans, it implies the experiencing of something with no structures inside the mind. And this is tremendously scary to the many, especially the Western minds, because they say, but how can you possibly do something like that? You are irresponsible. But I'm sorry, think that what we mean by responsibility, I mean, but seriously and deeply and profoundly, is responsibility to live through the structure of my system and society, which is actually it means to live a life through and by what other people planned and created. Is that responsibility? I mean, radically, existentially, psychologically, and socially true? I don't think so. Or perhaps the responsibility is to follow what you feel.
Yeah, to have the responsibility to be an individual.
Yeah, with no conditions, no structure, no fear inside your mind. It doesn't matter if you will do some mistakes or not. Each one of us does some mistake, do some mistake sooner or later. But it's fine. It's a part of the process of following my personal path according with my perception, my feeling, and not according with the suggestion of someone else's suggestion, or the fear coming and promoted by the system in which I live, not to say my religiosity if I have one. I mean, a responsibility is to live life according with our perception of what our life, which is ours, is supposed to be, with no conditionings and comparison with the life that other people live. That's what the responsibility is supposed to be to me. And unfortunately, people think that responsibility like a structure, so you just follow the steps So you have to go to the school, then go to the university, then get a job, build up an house, a family, match what the society requires from you, and that's responsibility. But are we inquiring fully in the real meaning of responsibility? Because that's not responsibility. If then I start struggling and I create a form of depression. I mean, look at the world, especially the Western world nowadays. There is suffering, there is depression, people are crazy, people are struggling. Is that responsibility? I don't think so.
No, it's funny that you say that because I got this piece of information about Sweden. Sweden has pretty much a government plan from cradle to grave, right? So everyone has jobs, you can get unemployment, all that kind of stuff, right? It's supposed to be one of the happiest places you can live, yet they have the highest suicide rating in the world.
Yeah, and I think Finland is on the top 10. Linda went in Finland, so she will tell you something about Finland. And this is a gigantic threat because they are promoting the Scandinavian countries like the best countries in which you can live in terms of welfare state and stuff like that.
Quality of life.
But the people there are tremendously sad. There is a percentage of suicide and rate is extremely high.
Yeah.
But they don't say that.
No.
They report just the progress of society, and this is exactly what is happening in the world. Because the many say, but how can you say that there is the society, if compared with 100 years ago, is not better. Of course, it's better. We have the possibility to talk, for example, now with Skype, computers, technology, medical supplies, whatever. But the progress increases a lot. The progress in regard of the society, which is the external progress. What about the mental progress and the internal progress? It's worse and worse and worse. The more the progress of society grows, the more the regress of the mind increases. The key of the mind increases. I mean, we are living, especially in the Western world, in an extremely sick society in which, for example, people think that is an indication of progress is the fact that in a big town you have a psychiatrist every 50 meters. You have a mental institution every 5 kilometers. This is an indication of progress. Are we sure? Perhaps it's an indication of something else. It's an indication that the progress is very fast, and the mind is getting more and more and more destroyed and bad. I mean, look at the bigger reason that in the States is depression. That's the reality.
Something that leads to a criminality too is depression, some form of depression, desperation, frustration.
So by saying responsibility, what exactly are we saying? Are we saying, because if we say that responsibility is to setting our life to match the system, it means that by saying responsibility, we are saying that we have to be depressed, following fake needs, creating what life is not. Is life my career? Is life my social structures? I don't think so. That's not responsibility. This is a bloody, gigantic hallucination and illusion.
Yeah.
That destroys the psyche of the people. Look at the suffering, look at the fight, look at the conflict, look at the insecurity, the need of, the desperate need of maybe spiritual tools, or just drugs to calm down the depression, the anxiety, the panic. Is that what the responsibility is supposed to be? No. Responsibility is supposed to be the possibility to achieve, even just a bit, the experiencing of life in total freedom of the mind, first of all, and then of the natural act of living life according to the freedom we are having inside our mind. Otherwise, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. You can become a billionaire. You will totally mess up forever for all of your life. I mean, responsibility and honesty are the same thing. It's not different. But we are living in a society that forgot totally the meaning of honesty, not in terms of value, of course, but in terms of quality of life. Quality of life. So how there can be responsibility where there is not honesty? Because we are too busy improving our belief systems that are not even ours creation.
And the hardest part about this project was being honest with yourself and taking all that dirt that was under the rug, putting it in the garbage forever, right? Like, there's so much that you have to own up to, but it's got me here, I'm going on an adventure now because I finally looked in the mirror the right way.
Yeah, it's like you are the compass of yourself, the metaphorical compass of yourself. What if, when I talk, for example, about orientation, what I mean by orientation is not the attempt to find out my way, which sounds very mystical and spiritual.
Yeah.
But it's the willingness to see what my way is not. That's the compass. Is the contrary of the normal compass.
Yeah.
The compass at no point. The meaning of the compass is to realize what my path is not. What my paths are not. And orientation is honesty. Again, not in terms of value, but in terms of self-orientation is self-observation, and that's honesty. If you are on, the action, psychological action to become fully honest is the action to dismantle all of the things that are not yours. And it's quite easy to realize that, for example, our past, we tend to use the past as a tool to compare what we are going to do, right, which is the unknown. So the past is a device, is a database, a tool to pick up the stuff in order to think, am I doing the right thing or not, and all of this stuff. But the problem is that we are not the authors of our past. The authors of our past are someone else, like the school system, the parents, the family, the friends, the environment in which I've been living, the books I read, the movies I saw, and we are just a insignificant author of our past. So when we pick up the stuff from our past to try to structure, to recall, or to imagine even our future, we are picking up stuff that is not what we create, because we are not the authors of our past. We are picking up ideas and conditioning created by other people, or by the systems, or by other structures, doesn't matter. That's the main trap. Doesn't mean trap. Like in every case, for example, if I get in relationship with someone, the moment I think what a relationship is supposed to be, so I try to behave on the right way, I create a disaster because I'm picking up stuff from the past, and the past is not mine. Just in terms of the linearity of time can be mine, which is just a memory. But in terms of contents and patterns, it's not mine. It's a creation of someone else and other structures. That's why the dream, when the dream becomes real, is very scary to the many, because it doesn't match the 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 structures which are the past, which are the known of the meaning. It's the new that is a tsunami that arrives in the new.
But it doesn't have to be scary. I mean, I was traveling on my own since I'm 21 with no plan, no money, and it always worked out one way or another. And I never had any fear. It was always quite exciting.
I'm sure it was. And, like, that's what's inspired me to do that, you know, because I've been following your story for a while, Jessica, so, like, I was familiar with what you said and how you experienced it or whatever, and it's like, if she could do it, I could do it too. Like, it's not rocket science.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get people saying, Kat, you're so brave or whatever, I could never do that. But why? Why do they, you know, it's like, I'm no different than anyone else. It's just, I had someone kind of just break me out like you guys. You kind of just, I saw it from a different perspective, and it was that easy after that, you know? It's just kind of like, aha. And
No, but you want to do it first before you want to help other people break out. Is that
exactly.
where you're at?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're there too. They can do it as well, but they just need to kind of take that first step, which is the scariest.
Yeah.
It's a plant the seed. Let them be like, yeah, you can.
Exactly.
The idea that if it comes, the idea that you are doing something crazy is not your idea. It's the idea of someone else. Because, for example, I've been living here in Bali in different occasions for more than 4 years, and do you know what is couch surfing, right? Couch surfing
Yep.
website.
Yep.
Okay. I just now it has changed a bit, because now there are too many people. I don't like really that much now. But anyway, yeah, there are many people that are looking for something else, or just to make noise.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be very selective. Anyway, until 2 years ago, I think I lost more than 400 people because of couchsurfing. People of all ages and from all over the world, including a lot of girls that were traveling alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all very light and extraordinary people with no fears. They never really bad happened to them. They were. I remember a girl from Germany. She was 18 years old. It was her first trip outside Europe and her first trip alone. So she came here to Bali through mostly by hitchhiking from Germany to Bali by mostly hitchhiking through Russia, through China, Thailand, and then the ferry until Bali. And it was 18. I mean, it was, and that person was not a crazy person. Was an extremely clear and intelligent person without any kind of fear or this and that. So you see, if you delay the fears to do something wrong from your mind in terms of ideas, then also you achieve the quality of selection. So you become selective, because the moment your mind is less busy, then you are able to perceive the energies of people, energies of the situation. So you are immediately and automatically and naturally able to understand what to select and what to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, spontaneously, with no thoughts, but I should listen someone else and this and that. No, like spontaneously. And that's the treasure of having a mind which is less busy or not busy at all, and not involved in distractions, comparison, or other noise.
Mm-hmm.
Noise or other noisy state of mind.
Yeah, and I think that's just gonna progress, like that kind of being able that spontaneity will come more naturally when I'm not thinking about what everyone's worried about or whatever about this trip and stuff. So when I get down there, I feel like it's just gonna be like a you know, because I can actually be. My mind won't be so busy because it is very busy. Don't get me wrong up here. It's I got a lot of stuff going on.
But you can observe it now. You don't have to get so lost or personally identified to it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now you understand the inner workings of the fear. You see what's the illusion, what's real, what's you, and what's not. So that gives you an upper hand and a different another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That lets you run through it more easier. There are other people who have like nervous breakdowns.
Oh, jeez.
But you know, remember that first of all, the journey you are facing is a psychological journey, right?
The inner journey.
Yeah.
Mostly I go did for you and another person.
Oh yeah,
Curiosity.
I did. Oh yeah, I remember. I did a post for you. The journey is inside. In any case, in each single moment, the journey is inside. It's not to be interpreted like in a spiritual way or in a philosophical way, but in a psychological way. If your mind is busy, it's not busy because what you are going to face. It's busy because of the consideration between your present moment and the past and the pressure and this and that, and probably also a bunch of expectations. But you will see that, you know, in some way, they will be there, you will be very tired because it's a long way. So I do believe that this will be helpful for you. Because sometimes we have to be tired because at least the mind stops thinking so badly and so much. And then when you will be comfortable with the place, you will feel the pleasure of experiencing and living with a mind which is no longer busy in planning, in expecting something, or in measuring something. And that's what the mind is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we are living constantly with our mind, but it seems to me that most of the cases our mind is our enemy. Some people even come to say, your mind is your enemy. The problem of the human world is the mind. Are you kidding me? The mind is not your jailer. The mind is your servant, your software. The mind and the spirit in terms of spirit means spiritus from Latin means the condition in which your mind has no conditionings. So your mind and your spirit, I call it I prefer to call spirit perception. The mind and the perception must go together as a team. There must be no separation. But if the mind is constantly busy in stuff that is not has nothing to do with that mind, but it comes from the outside world and the past, of course it's a friction. There is a constant friction, and then the mind becomes the worst enemy ever. We are constantly in fight with our mind. Even if we think about it, we are not just our mind, but we think we are our mind. So why do we fight with our mind constantly, creating pressures and fear and suffering? It's clear that our mind is in friction with something else. Otherwise, we will be just a robot. So, when mind is in friction, what about to understand the friction and to understand that it is our perception that has no structures to be in friction with the intellectual mind? They have to be friends. So in some way, you are not traveling alone. Bring with you your mind too.
Yeah.
I will. We'll become good friends.
Yeah, good friends.
Okay.
The same journey.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good, Pat. We went a little bit over, but is still very good. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Anyway, no, in regard of the trip, stay in touch, and for any kind of, don't be afraid to ask if you have some problem or tips or stuff like that. We can be in touch. So I can give you also some contacts of people, whatever. As you know.
And we still want to do interviews with you too, if we can.
Well, I just got an iPad today, and I downloaded Skype onto it, so hopefully I have some kind of internet connection there. I'm sure I will, but yeah, I'll keep in touch.
It's not the same powerful there. It's more weak than here in Bali.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to get quite a good connection. You have to go to the hotel where Linda lives and work.
Yeah, that's probably where I'll stay. I think I might stay in the hostel for a few days, but I'd like to find somewhere else to stay besides the hostel. Maybe be a little bit cheaper outside of the hostel.
Yeah, you can rent. There is some possibility to rent. If you rent one house, it's actually cheaper than the hostel. There is possibility to rent a single house. Linda will show you, or maybe to share the house with other people. If I remember well, there is a big house where there are 3 girls from England that they are working there doing, I don't know, something with. They are producing some dresses or some stuff like that, and they are always looking for someone to share their house because they are living in a big house. So you will find many opportunities. Don't be afraid about it. Maybe just to take the first days, stay maybe in a guest house because it will be very crowded for sure.
Yeah.
And then you will see the place. You will get familiar with the energy and this and that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to. Because it's going to be a long trip, and then, like you said, the energy is going to be a lot.
Yeah.
I felt that when I was in Sedona too. I was there for a few days, and it was just kind of like, whoa. But yeah.
Sorry, are you going to Lima?
Only just to I'm landing in Lima, and then I land in Cusco as well.
So you stay just in the airport in Lima, because
Yeah.
Lima, I don't suggest you Lima. Lima is the classic South American town, busy, and in some places a bit dangerous too. So don't ignore Lima.
I was just going to say that.
You go to Cusco directly, right?
Sorry?
You go from Lima, you go to Cusco.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then you take the bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Or a cab. I think I'll take a cab though.
Maybe I think it's better the bus, because the bus is kind of cheap and is. I know that is a super modern bus with internet inside the bus, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they just said don't take the train.
No, the train, don't take the train because it takes a lifetime, and it's not the case. It's not the case.
Yeah.
The bus or the taxi or the bus, yes. But I suggested the bus because we are more comfortable.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to look out for one then. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go though, if that's all right. May I go?
Yeah, of course, we're done too. But make sure to keep a journal of everything too.
I will. I've got my iPad now, so I got no excuse not to.
Okay.
Right. See you guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.